This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. On St. Thomas, a man is arrested for unauthorized possession of a firearm. 44-year-old Bernard Kennings Jr. is facing charges for being in possession of a 9mm handgun with no serial number, along with a 15-round magazine filled to capacity and marijuana. That's according to VIPD. Police pulled him over on Friday on St. Peter Mountain Road after they say he blew a stop sign. Officers learned his license was expired, as well as the vehicle's insurance and registration. Kenning Jr.'s admitted to having the gun and drugs in the vehicle. VIPD's Economic Crimes Unit arrests an accomplice in a forgery case. 61-year-old Hector Bermudez Jr. is facing charges including forgery and grand larceny. These charges stem from an investigation which started back in May of this year. Detectives say in April, while a man named Ariel Peterson Sr. was washing the victim's vehicle, Peterson took the victim's checkbook from inside that vehicle, then wrote 2 checks for $500 each, one written out to himself, the other to Bermudez, both without the victim's permission. Investigators say both checks were cashed at Moe's gas station, causing the business to lose $1,000 as well. As we begin a new week, we are seeing a bit of a spike in COVID-19 case counts. According to the VI Department of Health, there are currently 70 active COVID cases territory-wide, with 47 on St. Croix, 23 active cases on St. Thomas, and no active cases on St. John. The VI Office of Veterans Affairs is hosting a vaccination booster shot clinics and a Veterans Town Hall this week. It's in collaboration with the VA Caribbean Healthcare System. On St. Thomas, the in-person vaccine clinics will be on Monday and Tuesday at the SFC Leonard B. Francis Readiness Center, the Armory. Monday's wrapped up, but it's from 9 a.m. until 3 on the 6th as well. On St. Croix at the American Legion Post 85 in Christiansted on December 8th from 9 o'clock in the morning until 3, and on the 9th from 9 to noon. Veterans, their dependents, and the veteran's caregiver are eligible to receive the vaccination booster. While walk-ins are welcome this week, veterans are encouraged to contact the VA community-based outpatient clinic in their island district to make an appointment. And that in-person Veterans Town Hall this week is going to be focusing on the PACT Act, the legislation that could positively impact millions of veterans, their families, and their survivors, as it is really the most significant expansion of veteran health care and benefits in decades. The town hall is going to be taking place on St. Croix Wednesday at the American Legion Post 85 in Christiansted from 6 to 8 p.m. All veterans are welcome to attend, as well as all veteran service organizations. In other health news today, model Hailey Bieber recently announced she's suffering from a large cyst in her ovary. About 1 out of every 100 women have ovarian cysts. They're usually non-cancerous and rarely cause problems, but they can lead to pain and other symptoms. Mandy Gaither has more on what you need to know about the condition and when it's time to see a doctor.
On Instagram, Hailey Bieber posted this picture for her followers, saying she has a cyst on her ovary that's the size of an apple, calling it painful and achy.
A lot of women get very frightened when they hear they have a cyst, and the majority of them are really inconsequential.
Cleveland Clinic OBGYN Dr. Selena Zanotti says the vast majority of ovarian cysts will go away on their own without medical care.
Cysts are only problematic if they're causing symptoms, and symptoms might be persistent pain or severe pain, or if there, are concerns that it may be a cancer or maybe a precancerous kind of tumor.
You should seek immediate medical care if there are signs of ovarian torsion or twisting of the ovary. Symptoms include sudden severe abdominal pain accompanied by vomiting or fever, feeling lightheaded or faint, and breathing rapidly, and cold, clammy skin.
You want to take care of that emergently because we want to make sure we can do everything we can to save a woman's ovary.
Other reasons to see a doctor: if menstrual periods change, the abdominal pain doesn't go away, or your abdomen becomes enlarged or swollen, you have trouble urinating or emptying your bladder, you have pain during intercourse, you have feelings of fullness, pressure, or discomfort in your abdomen, you lose weight for no apparent reason, or you feel generally ill.
If a woman is starting to develop a lot of persistent symptoms, that's when we might look at something like surgery to remove the cyst.
The Cleveland Clinic says it is important to stay up to date on regular pelvic exams so your doctor can find any cysts which may require treatment. On St. Croix this Saturday, there will be a huge produce distribution for UHC-covered GVI retirees. United Healthcare Wellness Program has teamed up with Rogers Farm for the 2022 Wellness Program for GVI retirees. Bags of fresh produce will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis while supplies last. There will be 500 bags available for the giveaway. It's set for Saturday, December 10th from 1 to 3 in the afternoon at the St. Croix Educational Complex. St. Croix retirees enrolled with the United Healthcare Plan have to bring their valid member ID card to receive a free produce bag. Once again, air travelers have more time to get a Real ID compliant card. The Department of Homeland Security announced Monday a new date set for May 7th, 2025. The extended period gives American travelers more time to get the compliant form of identification. The original deadline was set for 2008, but there's been several delays with excuses including the pandemic. Congress passed the Real ID Act back in 2005. It's intended to crack down on fake or counterfeit IDs. Currently, air travelers are required to use a passport or driver's license to board domestic commercial flights. The upcoming defense authorization bill is likely to end the military COVID vaccine mandate. Republicans have been lobbying to kill the mandate, saying it has discouraged people from going into military academies and also removed people from service who didn't follow the requirement. The White House says it still supports the mandate, but is aware of the need for bipartisan support for the annual spending bill in Congress. The bill will likely be approved by Congress within the next 2 weeks. It remains to be seen, though, what Congress does about those service members who were disciplined or discouraged from service as the result of the mandate. And the U.S. House of Representatives is slated to vote on a same-sex marriage bill. The legislation is known as Respect for Marriage Act. It provides federal protections for same-sex and interracial marriages. The Senate bill passed last week with 12 Republican senators joining with the Democrats. We expect the House to vote on this legislation as early as this week. President Biden says if Congress can approve this bill, he will sign it into law. Superstar rapper Megan Thee Stallion is making history as the first black woman to grace the cover of Forbes 30 Under 30. The 27-year-old Houston native earned an estimated $13 million in 2022. She's partnered with music's biggest stars like Beyonce and Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. In 2016, she was studying nursing while creating hip-hop videos on YouTube. She then signed on to a label in 2018, and the rest is history. Billion-dollar brands are now lining up to work with Megan, including Nike, Revlon, and Popeyes. This is the second time Megan has landed in the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. First time, though, on the cover. Impressive indeed. 2 new movies look at how 2 very different communities in the heart of Manhattan and in a poor rural Alabama county fought for survival in different ways. David Daniel previews both in today's Hollywood Minute.
Working on Broadway, it's one of the best jobs that you can have.
Doing something 8 times a week, it's your entire existence being in theater, essentially.
Canceling a show is unheard of. The show must go on.
But of course, the COVID-19 pandemic shut down all of Broadway, putting more than 96,000 people out of work. The documentary Broadway Rising looks at how that community coped and what it took to bring Broadway back 18 months later. Fathom Events is putting the film in theaters tonight only. Check fathomevents.com for locations.
They were literally putting their lives on the line.
And they still organize, and still they try and vote.
We wanted a movement that would survive the loss of our lives.
The strength will come from the work together.
In 1965, Lowndes County, Alabama was 80% black people, but none of them were registered to vote. Lowndes County and the Road to Black Power features interviews with people who were there, standing up to racist violence and fighting for their rights in the Jim Crow South. The documentary is now in theaters and available on some streaming services. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Pantone has revealed its color of the year for 2023. It's Viva Magenta. Pantone says the nuanced crimson tone balances warm and cool in his unconventional shade for an unconventional time. The company said the shade reconnects us to original matter and invokes the forces of nature. Pantone has named a color of the year annually for more than 2 decades now. The company is known for creating the Pantone matching system, which is used to identify and match colors in industries like printing, graphic design, and fashion.